Welcome to the Builders Coach Show, episode 5, the first episode for 2018.
Happy New Year!
Great to have you.
Back.
We're back and back with a vengeance. I hope your year's got off to a flyer, you've got some real momentum, you're back into things and you're getting plenty of wins. And if you're new to the show, welcome on this journey. Life's a journey and this show is a journey of learning, discovery, exploration in the pursuit of excellence and optimum performance in all areas of your business, your life. And we share our learnings, our observations, as well as those of our clients as well.
Like our 2-day journey to Cape Town.
2-day journey, man.
2 days. You can do it. You can actually go to Cape Town.
If there's a big rugby
for a weekend.
If you want to watch the Fox All Blacks, you can do it. We had 2 days in Cape Town, surprised my mother and my sister, and whirlwind. But anyway, we can't dive into that and start talking about that in too much detail. The first thing I want to share with you guys is something I learned from a guy called Tim Ferriss. So hopefully with the wealth of information that's available to us these days, you're listening to podcasts, you're listening to audio books. If you're not, I highly recommend it. If you are listening to podcasts, you would have heard of Tim Ferriss. If you haven't, go have a look. Great bloke. Plenty of good stuff. He interviews a lot of successful people, deconstructs what it is that they do to become successful, what their patterns are, and that sort of thing. Anyway, he gave me an exercise which I followed through on at the end of last year, which is you go through your calendar for the year, and I did it on a weekly basis. So 52 weeks, just went through each week, and then highlighted all the peak positive emotional experiences, both work and personal, and also all the peak negative emotional experiences as well. And it takes 10 minutes, all right? I did mine. Fortunately, I had more positive experiences than negative experiences.
Oh, but, imagine so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, married to you.
Exactly.
Say no more.
Maybe I won't do mine.
You'd probably have me on both columns, both sides of the
moving right along now
of the ledger. But so the purpose of the exercise is to take the positive experiences and book them in. Book more of that work and personal stuff in that gave you those peak positive experiences, and obviously eliminate and steer yourself away from the negative stuff, right? You blink, it's going to be Easter, then we're going to be into July, bang, winter, and then it's going to be Christmas again. So you get stuck in that wind tunnel. Make sure you book all the good stuff in now. I know people that are really good at this. They've always got cool stuff they're doing, going to concerts, catching up with friends. We actually, after I did this, we went out for dinner and then we jotted down all the positive stuff we want to do, all the good people we want to catch up with, fun stuff. So that's all locked and loaded, can't recommend it enough. The other thing I want to touch on is habits, all right? So it's beginning of the year, we're ready into Feb, and it's all about how do you make sure that you, hopefully identify the good habits you want to carry forward into 2018, but how do you make them stick? How do you actually make them stick? So a great thing to do if you're not already doing it is have a morning routine. Right? So get up, at least you can control what you do in the morning, how you lay and set the day up, and that can impact on what happens for the rest of the day. But
even your eating and what you eat and what you drink in the morning, just have a routine of that, and that even just starts the day on a good, positive, structured note. You can just then power through. So
100%, yeah, I love it. And one of the things I just want to share, one of my positive habits that I want to focus on, and eating is definitely one of them, all right? And that's continue to have good structure with diet. But mindset is freaking so important from a business and personal perspective. It's the be all and end all, right? It's all up here in the operating system. The thing that defines success and separates the winners from losers, right? It all starts up here in your head. So for me personally, it was being positive. Right, it was in the morning as part of my morning routine. I got this from Stephen Bradbury, is to wake up and just be positive and put yourself in a good mood, because you can't control it. You can wake up and be a cranky pants. You can wake up and be positive, right? Put yourself in that good mood. So I started doing that, and it was having a positive effect, or I could see the results of that coming through. But I then needed to extrapolate it further or apply it in different areas. And
not just the morning time.
Not just the morning time.
Rest of the day.
No, but what I wanted to, and this is what I found interesting, right, was applying it to situations when things were outside of your control and something that you perceive to be negative or bad happens. So say someone cuts you off in traffic, all right, or someone treats you badly or really unfairly. How do you put a positive spin on that? And I heard something fantastic. You can, man, I'll highly recommend you apply this. When something happens to you, feel you've been unjustly treated, someone's been really nasty to you, the way to look at it or put a positive spin or just to deal with it from a mindset perspective is three things. Everyone's intentions are generally good. When someone does something, even if it seems like a negative or bad thing, deep down, if you dig down deep enough, and psychologists will back this up, generally the intentions are good. Their behavior is not who they are. So you don't define someone by their behavior, and people are doing the best they can with the resources they have.
Yeah.
So if you just think of those things, their intentions are generally good, they're doing the best they can with the resources they have, and they are not their behavior, then you can sort of deal with it and not allow, sometimes someone does something bad to you or you've been wrongly treated and you get stuck in that negative circuit. And it can consume your mindset and have negative spin-offs for the rest of your day and for the rest of the appointments, the people that you get to interact with. So
Yeah.
I thought that was great. Now, we had a situation with our son, Jack.
Yes. He's
So
10 years old.
10-year-old boy. And kids often lose stuff, right? Like all that.
Except Jackson.
Except Jack. He's very
Jackson
analytical. He's a switched-on little guy.
Never lost a school hat, never lost a school jacket. Very structured in his approach and analytical. He's such a good kid. He's responsible for 10-year-old, especially for a 10-year-old boy. He's pretty on it.
Very responsible, natural leader. He's got that natural leadership
Yeah.
ability. So I want to talk about how we applied this positive mindset to a situation that happened. So
He lost his, misplaced, it turns out. He lost his wide brim cricket hat with his brand new $200 Oakleys that he got for his birthday
Oakley
that are
sunglasses.
placed on his cricket hat. That's where they live. So the fact that he lost his hat meant that he lost his glasses and he was pretty devastated.
yeah, okay. So he was feeling pretty bad about it. He's feeling pretty
Yeah.
shitty about the whole situation. And I was thinking, now, how do we put a positive spin on this? How do we apply positivity to this? So we're having
I was
to
running blanks. I'm like, there's nothing
I've got
positive about this.
let's be positive. How do you be positive about losing the $200 pair of Oakleys in your hat? He's feeling terrible, and I said to Jack, how do we do this? And we're having dinner and we're discussing. We've got our girls there as well, and I said to him, Jack, that feeling that you have now, that you're feeling terrible, right? You got that sick pit feeling in your gut about having lost these things. I want you to allow that and carry that forward and make sure that it never happens again. And the fact that you're feeling that bad will probably mean that it'll never happen again, and you're probably not going to lose something far more valuable down the track. So that's the positive that's come out of this negative or seemingly negative experience.
Yeah.
And I don't think it changed how he felt about what happened. He's still feeling sort of down in the dumps. But
No.
3 days later, what happened?
A 3-year-old beautiful girl, Liv, she just comes running to me and says, Mummy, I found the hat. It was down the back of the couch, in between a basket and the couch.
So she ends up
It
finding...
had fallen down, so he hadn't actually lost the hat, which is typical Jackson. He doesn't lose anything.
And then I was Jack C. Jack, never give up. Never give up, even though we're like one and two given up on the hunt.
And we changed our mindset and then it just appeared.
But
I mean,
it was great. It was an opportunity. So you got the lesson, you got to feel bad, you got to know what that's like, and then as a result, we also then extrapolated into what is the positive steps, practical steps you could take to make sure it doesn't happen again, and that was to create a checklist.
Checklist before he goes to cricket.
There's lots of different things that go in his cricket kits. He's created a checklist. He actually got that solution out the back end, and then he got his hat and his Oakleys back in the end as well. So really positive
Be
story.
positive.
But that's my mission for this year, is to keep applying the be positive
Yeah.
to everything that comes our way. Now, story from the trenches. I want to share this as it relates to sales. Now, sales and marketing, highly grail business, right? You got your sales and marketing process set up. You're pretty much guaranteed to optimize your profit, your workflow, and also to a degree your cash flow as well. So, Adrian Mamet up in Queensland. I want to share this story. Number one rule of sales, what is it? Qualify, qualify, qualify. Okay? That means you've got to have good marketing. You've got to have good lead flow so that you can cherry pick the best jobs, qualify out the negative ones. Second to that is follow up, follow up, follow up. You've got to follow up every single inquiry or every single lead with multiple steps, have a good structure. Now, a lot of guys I know, when I first start working with them, they do a quote, they submit it, and then they wait for the people to get back. So they don't follow it up. And as soon as we start doing that, I say, you've got to follow up everything. Just And the reason they don't is I feel like they're being too pushy, and they don't know how to approach someone who they've submitted a quote in. They don't want to keep chasing them. If they phone first and the person doesn't answer, they don't want to then, you know, hound them. And there is that philosophy of if you chase, they run, right? So you don't want to be doing that. There's a way to approach them in a subtle way. Follow up is really important. Now, what Adrian did, and this is breaking new ground. This is new. I haven't actually heard of anyone doing this consistently. So what happened was he went and met with someone, as he does through his sales process, a site visit, and he explained to them that he charges for quotes. Now, the person said, "No thanks, I'm not going to pay for a quote." They weren't, yeah, qualified. Well, exactly. Qualified. Thank you. Spot on. However, he didn't find the people, because sometimes you qualify on personality. Some people are just difficult to deal with, little prickly characters, and go, "No thanks, don't want to have to deal with that," right? You've been in that situation. That was not the case with them. So he gave it some time and put in his calendar to call them back. He called them back. This person said they're going to get free quotes from 3 other builders. He phoned them and just said, "Hey, how's it going? I just want to see how you went." And they shot back, "I'm so glad you called." None of the 3 builders have sent any quotes in. Not one of them had actually got back to him with a quote, which they promised they'd do.
And that's to pay for, right?
Yeah,
it's free, you're never going to get it.
And they said, "Jasia, look, we would love to meet with you and take you up on that offer to pay for a quote." So this is like following up backwards, actually going backwards. And the brilliant thing is there were 2 of these opportunities. Another one where he went and saw them, and they had already paid for a quote.
Okay.
And he said, "Look, I'm not going to expect you to pay for another one." And he sort of backed out of that one. He phoned them up as well to say how it's going, and they wanted to re-engage him as well, because the builder that had placed the quote was way above what they were expecting, so they wanted to get another one done as well. So 2 out of 2 following up, going backwards to potential loss. Now, here's the point I want to emphasize, right? Most clients don't even follow up with a quote that they've submitted where everything's going well. Why don't they? It's because of a negative mindset. It's because that little voice in the head going, "Oh no, but what if they've obviously chosen someone else? I don't want to chase them, blah, blah, blah." So that positive mindset, Adrian is a great example of applying that positive mindset. He's like, "No, I'm going to call these guys. I want to see how they're going. And if they have moved forward with one of the other builders and got a great result, good on them. I just wanted to see how they're going." Positive, right? He's not going, "Oh no, no one wants to talk to me, no one wants to deal with me." So good on you, Adrian. And I did ask if we could share. He said, "Great, we could." So thank you for that. Another quick mention to Maddie skiing up on the Gold Coast. So Maddie was in the room when we did our 2-day boot camp with Bradbury and Ben Robert Smith. I may have mentioned Maddie got Ben Robert Smith, this is a Special Forces guy, the VC recipient, got his business card, and said, "Let's catch up for a coffee when you're up in Brisbane," because Maddie's up near there. They did. He got to catch up with Ben for an hour, and some great insights around leadership. I haven't got time to share it all now, but I just want to emphasize that very successful people often are happy to catch up and to share what they've,
for free.
For free. Like,
just like we're doing right now.
I won't tell you what it cost.
No one's paying for this.
It cost us an arm and a leg to get Ben in the room. It was worth every cent. It cost incredible amount of money to get him in the room for an hour. And Maddie got to sit down with him for an hour, free of charge, and really pick his brains. And he got some great insights, really, really good insights as they relate to leadership out of that coffee catch up. So that ties into the next thing I want to bring up, which is events. So that was our 2-day boot camp. Our next event is coming up here in Sydney in 2 weeks on the 15th of Feb. Sold out. So hopefully you booked in.
So sorry.
I checked this morning. It's sold out. It's sold out. But the good news is,
be positive. Be positive.
Well, what's the silver
There'll
lining?
be another one.
There will be another one. There will be more in Sydney later in the year. However, there is something coming up on the 9th, and I can confirm the 9th of March, so next month, in Brisbane. Okay, Vegas at the Build Design Centre. We haven't released anything yet in terms of marketing or a way for you to register and book in, but we will shortly. So watch the space. Keep go to our Facebook page, on our blog post as well. As soon as it's available, we'll let you know.
So can Sydney guys still go to the Brisbane events?
Absolutely.
So
Perth,
it's not geographically
Perth,
based.
Adelaide,
You can
North,
go anywhere you like.
Tasmania
Right.
can come. It does not matter. Yeah. So we'll let you know. We'll let you know about the 9th of March as soon as it's available. Just like I say, keep an eye on our Facebook page. That's where we'll post it first and foremost. Parting thought. We're about to wrap up. This is something I've come to realise myself. Success is messy at the best of times, right? So on the surface, when you look at, like, we've got some very successful clients, right? Guys in the 7-figure club, so netting $1 million after all expenses, including their own wages a year, turning over less than 10 mil. We've got a couple of guys going into franchising, they're taking their business national. On the surface, it looks fantastic. It looks like it looks easy, but it's not. It's often messy, things get away from you, you're constantly trying to rein things in. You've got to push through the plateaus, you've got to work through the grind, and you've got to work through even the boredom sometimes as well. But if you stay the course, if you just stay the course, the results will absolutely astound you. So stay the course, make sure you join us next time as well. Until then, take care.
See ya.